this really exotic name Maserati, and you hear about the brother Alfieri and all these legends of motoring back through the past. And yet this car is very much a usable, friendly, everyday kind of daily driver type car. And it's fitted with a diesel engine, which means it's got plenty of torque, so you just merely touch the throttle and the car moves off quite easily. Well, I must say I found the gear selection on this automatic gearbox, full automatic gearbox, 8-speed ZF box, just a little tricky to get the thing moving. You have to sort of like really push hard on the brake to get some of the gears selected, at least in the initial stages of pulling off. There's quite a lot to like about the interior. The thing I like most probably is the steering wheel, because it just feels so good. It's got a nice thick diameter to the rim, and that Maserati badge in the center. The boss really looks nice. That Trident, I mean, it really makes you feel good about the car. Controls are quite basic. Of course, you've got cruise control on your left-hand side, and you've got various function settings on the right-hand side here, and pretty easy to operate. Also easy to operate is the touch screen in the middle. I really like it. I prefer it to a mouse operator type thing, so you're getting some of the iDrive type systems, which are a little bit more fiddly, and you've got to be twirling a knob, and you've got to take your eye away. Here you identify what you want. You say, I want climate, and then Bob's your auntie, there's climate. Adjust the air, there we go, and back to normal. And so yeah, it's a nice one-touch operation. Your attention isn't away from the road ahead for too long a time. Fit and finish quite nice. We've got this good quality sort of beige-ish upholstery. It's not really fancy, I must say. For a Maserati, I would have possibly expected a bit more in the way of fine stitching, etc., etc. But I understand from the sales guys at Maserati South Africa here that this is pretty much their fleet spec car, which sounds a bit weird to me. I mean, I could never really imagine a fleet of Maseratis, but who knows? And further along the line of that thinking, some of the controls are also manual rather than electric. You've got electric adjustment for the seat squab, but manual adjustment for the backrest, and the same with the steering wheel for rake and reach. It's manual adjustment. I quite like that. I mean, once you've set the car up for yourself, you don't tend to go fiddling around and changing your position a bit, unless of course you're on a long trip from here to Cape Town. A couple of things I really like about this boot, and two of them are those rather solid struts that seem to locate it nicely. They don't look too heavy either, and they're nice and out of the way in terms of the loading area. And the other thing is the sheer size of the boot. I mean, 500 litres for a car like this, Italian semi-supercar sedan, if you'd like to put it that way. I think it's quite amazing. One of the marvels of diesel technology these days is that they don't sound like clattery old bus diesels anymore. So you can quite happily live with a diesel engine in a car like this now. It does have that nice charismatic sound. Well, it's very muted, but yet again it's not an irritating sound like diesels of the old days. It is quite a firmly sprung car, being a sporty type of conveyance, but on the other hand, it's supposed to be a luxury car too, and I find the ride quite nice and comfortable. So yeah, very much a daily driver, usable type car. And then you've got this thrust. I mean, this car actually really accelerates nicely, especially in the mid-range. And it is rated at a 0 to 100 time of around 6.5 seconds, which is pretty good for a car this size. Possibly the most satisfying thing, I think, is the feedback through the steering wheel. This car is alive, and that's something that you'd expect of an Italian thoroughbred like the Maserati. So the question is, would I buy a Maserati Ghibli? And the answer is maybe. If I were to go in, it would be probably the petrol engine, which is a lot more powerful, especially the S model, and it has that lovely sound. A diesel just doesn't quite do it for me in this league of car. That is a really refined diesel. And the price is not that great. 1.3 for this, 1.3 million that is, and 1.6 for the S. I reckon if I was in this league, I'd dip my hand in a deeper and go for the